Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to Speak English with Luna, the place where we don't just learn words, we learn how to change our lives using the English language. I am so happy you are tuning in today because we have a very special episode. Many of my students tell me, Luna, I can't lead a team because my vocabulary is too small. Or, Luna, I feel like a child when I speak at work. Well, today we are going to break that myth. Today we are talking about aspirational English, how to sound like a leader even if you only know the basics.
It's a pleasure to be here, Luna. You're absolutely right. In my 30 years of leadership, I've learned that the most powerful people in the room are often the ones who speak the most simply. Complexity is often just a mask for insecurity.
Did you hear that? Complexity is a mask for insecurity. Wow, that is powerful. Everyone, I want to introduce you to Tommy. As you can hear, Tommy has this incredible, calm energy. He's wearing a sharp suit today, and he looks like the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, but he's here to tell us that big words don't make a big leader. But before we dive deep, I have a challenge for you, the listener.
A challenge. I like challenges.
Yes! Listeners, right now we are speaking very clearly. This is B1 level English. It's comfortable, right? But as we talk, the English is going to get harder. It's going to get faster. By the middle of the show, we'll be at B2, and by the end, Tommy and I will be using C1 advanced expressions. My challenge to you is this. Do not turn off this podcast. Even if it gets difficult, stay with us. If you want to lead, you have to learn to listen even when things get complex. Can you handle that?
That's a great test, Luna. Leadership is about staying in the conversation when it gets tough. It's about focus. If you can stay until the final minute of this episode, you are already practicing the discipline of a leader.
Exactly. So take a deep breath, adjust your headphones. We are starting this journey together. Tommy, are you ready to show them how simple can actually be strong?
I'm ready. Let's begin.
Let's do it. But first, let's talk about why we feel so afraid of small words. Before we go any further, I want everyone listening to take a moment and just breathe. I know that learning a language can feel like you are walking on eggshells. You are afraid that if you say the wrong word, people won't respect you, especially at work, right? You feel like you have to be perfect to be a leader. But I want to tell you something. This podcast right now is your safe zone. You don't have to be perfect here.
That is so important, Luna. You know, in my position, I meet people from all over the world. Many of them are brilliant engineers or designers, but they are terrified to speak in meetings because their English isn't business ready. And I always tell them the same thing. I am not judging your grammar. I am listening for your ideas. If you can communicate your heart and your strategy, the small mistakes disappear.
The small mistakes disappear. I love that. Listeners, did you hear that? Tommy is a high-level leader, and he is telling you that he doesn't care if you miss an S at the end of a verb or if you use the wrong preposition. He wants to hear you. So please, let go of that heavy backpack of shame you've been carrying.
Exactly. Think of this conversation as a laboratory. We are experimenting. If you don't understand every single word we say today, that's okay. That's actually part of the process. A leader isn't someone who knows everything. A leader is someone who is brave enough to stay in the room when they feel uncertain.
Yes, you are safe here. We are your team today. Now that we've cleared the air, let's get into the how. Tommy, let's show them how to actually do this. All right, Tommy, let's get into the heart of the matter. We've established that our listeners are safe and that simplicity is actually a strength. But I want to get practical. When you are in a boardroom and you are surrounded by people using jargon like synergy, leverage, and paradigms, how do you keep it simple without sounding, well, uneducated?
That's a brilliant question, Luna. And it hits on the biggest fear people have. They think if they don't use the big words, they look small. But here is the secret. True leadership is about the economy of language. Let me tell you a story. Early in my career, I had a boss named Arthur. Arthur was a man of very few words. I remember one specific meeting where a consultant was trying to explain a very complex problem for 45 minutes. He used every advanced vocabulary word in the book. He was trying to sound like the smartest person in the room.
Oh, I know those types of people. It's like they are reading a dictionary out loud just to impress everyone. It's exhausting to listen to, isn't it?
Exactly. It's a performance. And when he finally finished, the whole room was silent. No one understood what the actual problem was. Arthur waited. He sat there in silence for about 10 seconds. 10 seconds of silence feels like an eternity in a meeting, Luna. But that silence showed he was in control. Then he looked at the consultant and said, "So, what you're saying is, we are spending more than we are making, correct?"
Wow, just like that? He boiled 45 minutes of nonsense down to one simple sentence?
One sentence. We are spending more than we are making. That is leadership. He wasn't afraid of the easy words. He used them as a scalpel to cut through the noise. And that's what I want our listeners to understand. When you use simple English, you aren't being basic, you're being precise. If you can describe a complex situation using B1 vocabulary, you actually prove that you understand the situation better than the person using C2 vocabulary.
That is such a perspective shift. I think many of our listeners feel that if they use small words, they are losing. But you're saying that by being succinct, that's a good B2C1 word there, you're actually gaining authority. But Tommy, what about the vibe? You have this very specific way of speaking. It's slow, it's intentional. Does that help?
It's everything. In English, we call it gravitas. It's the weight of your presence. If you speak quickly because you're nervous about your English, you lose power. You sound like you're chasing the listener. But if you slow down, if you allow yourself to pause between sentences, you force the listener to come to you. You are the one setting the pace of the conversation.
You are setting the pace. I love that. Let's pause there for a second for our listeners. Did you catch that? Tommy is talking about the rhythm of leadership. If you are worried about your grammar, your brain starts to run fast, right? You start to stutter. But if you decide, I am going to speak slowly and use only the words I know, you suddenly look like the most confident person in the room.
And let's talk about the transition to more advanced communication. As you move from B2 to C1, it's not just about knowing more words, it's about knowing the nuance of the words you already have. For example, instead of saying, "I don't like this idea," a leader might say, "I have some reservations about this approach."
Ooh, reservations. That's a sophisticated way to say, I'm not sure. It sounds so much more professional, but the word reservation is still a word most B1 students know from booking a hotel.
Exactly. You're repurposing words you already know to fit a professional context. That is what I call aspirational English. You aren't learning 5,000 new words, you're learning how to use your 500 words with more finesse. Another example, instead of saying, "let's start," you say, "let's kick things off." It's a phrasal verb, it's natural, and it shows you're comfortable with the flavor of the language.
This is getting so good. We are really moving into that B2C1 territory now. Listeners, stay with us. Tommy, you mentioned nuance and finesse. For someone listening who feels like they are stuck at a plateau, meaning they can speak but they don't feel like they are powerful yet, what is the one linguistic habit they should change today?
Stop apologizing. Pause. Never start a sentence with, "Sorry, my English is bad." The moment you say that, you have surrendered your leadership. You have told everyone in the room that your voice is less valuable because of your grammar. A leader never apologizes for their existence. If you forget a word, just say, "How do I say," or "the word escapes me," and keep going.
Wow, I even do that sometimes, Tommy. It's such a reflex to apologize when we feel less than. But you're right, a leader owns the room even if they're searching for a noun.
Precisely. If you're comfortable with your limitations, other people will be comfortable too. They will wait for you. They will respect the fact that you're navigating a second or third language to share your vision with them. That is true tenacity.
Tenacity. I love that word. It means not giving up. It means being tough. Listeners, we are halfway through and the English is getting richer. Tommy is using words like tenacity, reservations, and gravitas. Are you still with us? Don't let these words scare you. Let them inspire you. Tommy, before we move to our word tour, can you give us one more tip on how to handle a situation where you truly don't understand what someone else is saying? Because that's the scariest part for a leader, right?
It is. And the weak response is to pretend you understand and just nod your head. A leader doesn't do that. A leader says, "Could you clarify that point for me?" Or, "I want to make sure I'm following your logic. Can you rephrase that?" Pause. Asking for clarification isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of diligence. It shows you care enough about the result to get the details right.
Diligence, clarification, ownership. These aren't just English lessons, these are life lessons. Tommy, this is incredible. I feel more confident just sitting here across from you.
That's the goal, Luna. The language is just the tool. The leadership comes from within.
It is time for our word tour. This is the part of the show where we take the gold Tommy has been sharing and put it in your pocket. Tommy, you used some incredible words. Can we break down 5 of them for our listeners?
I would be honored. Let's start with a word that defines the leader's voice: succinct. Pause. To be succinct means to say something clearly and in a few words. Instead of long, confusing explanation, you give a succinct summary. For example, his report was succinct and powerful.
Succinct. I love that. It sounds like success. What's the next one?
The second is gravitas. This refers to a person's dignity or seriousness. It's that weight we talked about. You could say she spoke with such gravitas that the entire room went silent. It's about the way you carry yourself.
Gravitas. That is definitely an aspirational word. It makes me feel stronger just saying it. Give us a phrasal verb.
Let's use to boil down. This is a great way to simplify things. It means to reduce a lot of information to its most important part. For example, it all boils down to one thing: customer trust.
Oh, that's perfect for our small vocabulary theme. It all boils down to... What about when we disagree politely?
That's when you use reservations. In a professional setting, it means you have doubts. Instead of saying, "I think this is a bad idea," you say, "I have some reservations about this timeline." It's sophisticated and respectful.
Reservations. And the last one.
To leverage. This means to use something you have to achieve a better result. For example, we need to leverage our team's experience. It's a classic leadership word.
Succinct, gravitas, to boil down, reservations, and to leverage. 5 keys to unlock your leadership potential. Now it is time for our community challenge. We want to hear from you, our listeners. This is your chance to practice what Tommy has been teaching us. Tommy, what is the mission for our future leaders today?
Here is your mission. I want you to practice what we call the power of one. Think of a major project you are working on or a big dream you have for your career. Now, try to explain that dream to us in exactly one sentence using the simplest English possible. No jargon, no synergy, and no big words allowed.
Yes, that is the challenge. Go to our community page or the comments section right now and share that one sentence. Don't worry about being perfect, just be clear. We want to see how you boil down your big ideas.
Remember, the person who can explain the vision the most simply is usually the person everyone chooses to follow. I am truly looking forward to seeing your clarity in action.
I am so excited to see what you all come up with. Let's see who can be the most succinct. We've reached the end. Listeners, if you are still hearing my voice right now, I want you to take a second to be proud of yourself. You completed the challenge. We started this episode with very simple B1 English, and we've just spent the last few minutes navigating some truly intellectually demanding C1 concepts. Did you feel that? You stayed in the room when it got tough. You already have the spirit of a leader.
It is a truly impressive feat. Most people stop when they feel a little bit of friction, but you pushed through the linguistic nuances with poise. That kind of endurance is exactly what separates a follower from a leader. It's been a privilege sharing this space with you today.
Thank you so much, Tommy. Your wisdom has been a gift to all of us. Listeners, don't forget to post your one-sentence vision in the comments. We are watching. And if this episode helped you feel more powerful, please subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and share it with a friend who needs a boost of confidence.
Keep it simple, stay focused, and never apologize for your journey.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Until next time, keep speaking, keep leading, and keep being amazing. Bye-bye.